Look, I'll be honest, it might be an uncomfortable conversation for some Warriors fans today, so I wanted to start off today's show on a happy note. Go to your happy place and go watch Happy Gilmore too. What's your favorite Warriors memory in your lifetime? I'm going to reveal mine at the end of today's show, but before we get started, go down below to the comment section and tell me what your favorite Warriors memory is ever. This is an absolute mess, an absolute debacle. This is just the worst case scenario when we had started free agency and began this Jonathan Kuminga free agent saga. The Warriors and Kuminga's situation right now, or non-resolved situation, is reaching the point of no return. And after we talked yesterday about Shams Charania's bombshell report and what Kuminga declined Golden State's a 2-year deal, like now Kuminga went to Instagram yesterday to kind of subliminally message what he might be doing and what decision he's going to be making as this free agency cycle winds down. In case you missed it, let's go over what Shams had to say yesterday on ESPN. He said that Kuminga declined a 2-year, $45 million deal with a team option. And you could be sitting here saying, I get it. Kuminga's, he's worth more than that, right? But that's not exactly what the holdup is. The holdup is that the Warriors want Jonathan Kuminga to waive what would be an inherent no-trade clause in that deal. The 2-year, $45 million offer that Golden State has on the table right now, just the way the CBA works, there would be a no-trade clause attached to that contract with just how the rules work, and the Warriors want JK to waive that if he were to sign it. They will not agree to the deal unless he does. Aaron Turner, Jonathan Kuminga's agent, is not really keen on this either, and they've been more focused on sign and trade partners this entire offseason and really leaving Golden State. That's been the notion basically the entire time until it was officially revealed, is that Kuminga does not want to be a member of the Warriors any longer. He believes that they have stunted and strung along, per Shams Charania's quote, his career. So they haven't really found that person yet. The Suns, the Kings, they've been interested, but neither team has really put out an offer that Golden State has wanted. And the Warriors at this point, due to that fact, are essentially cutting off all sign and trade talks for Jonathan Kuminga, and they're basically leaving him with two options. He can either sign that 2-year, $45 million deal with the team option, or he could sign the $7.9 million qualifying offer and enter unrestricted free agency next offseason. And that also would include a no-trade clause, which is kind of something that Kuminga seems pretty keen on right now, as he wants as much control as he could possibly get over the future of his NBA career. And now that brings us to this. Yesterday, via Instagram, Kuminga goes to a story, and he says that I'm going to bet on myself. I'll bet on myself all day. At ARockTurner20, that is his agent, Aaron Turner. So they're on the same page. They're in that same picture together. And it looks like Kuminga is going to be betting on himself. Now, what does that mean for the Golden State Warriors? Well, if he's betting on himself and the Warriors aren't moving off that $45 million 2-year deal, then that means he's probably turning for the worst case scenario option, and that is signing the qualifying offer. He's been threatening to sign it. Slater reported it, and Shams reported it yesterday, that Kuminga's side is anticipating a scenario where they're going to sign the qualifying offer. And if there's no deal before August 12th, because that's when Jonathan Kuminga goes to Africa to play for the Congo, to play in Afrobasket, risking injury, and at this point the Warriors cannot rescind the qualifying offer, so whatever happens over there, he can just accept it. He is going to do it if it gets past that date. So this could get very murky for Golden State, not only because you're not getting the full $20 million plus that you want to recoup back in a trade down the line. No, you can't even trade him at all. It's an automatic no trade clause, and you are all but sealing your fate that he is going to leave in unrestricted free agency next offseason for nothing. And before we kind of get back to that point, I wanted to give you guys just the information that we've gotten since the Shams Charania article came out. This is a reported trade offer of what the Suns actually offered for Jonathan Kuminga. And if you subscribe to the channel, you already know we covered this scenario a couple weeks ago. Royce O'Neal, Nick Richards, and they ended up offering up 4 second-round picks as draft compensation in the deal. We know Phoenix does not have a first-round pick really in their arsenal to trade at this point. It would be very silly for them to do so. And in exchange, they would get Jonathan Kuminga. But the Warriors have obviously declined this, and it doesn't look like they are going to be dealing with the Suns or really anybody at this point. And there was another quote here from Brett Siegel about Dylan Brooks' potential involvement, or I guess lack thereof. He said, Phoenix has not offered and will not involve newly acquired wing Dylan Brooks in trade conversations this offseason, nor would the Warriors hold interest in him, according to sources. So I guess that's just a little nugget right there. I just want to keep you guys in the loop with as much information that is coming out from all these insiders regarding the Kuminga potential trade saga, which kind of seems off the table at this point, as the Warriors also declined a Devin Carter and Dario Saric, along with 2 second-round picks trade from the Sacramento Kings. It's been the long stance from Golden State that they want a first-round pick along with a young player in exchange for Kuminga, and that has just been an absolute pipe dream. Like, the Warriors aren't blameless in this situation either. Like, they are holding way too high of a price tag for a guy. They want to play like a role player, but they won't accept role players back in return for him in a trade. So they are not blameless in this situation whatsoever. I believe that they should just accept one of those 2 deals and move on. The penalty for bringing him back and creating all this awkwardness in the lineup and potential for him not to play big-time minutes and frustrate him even more in Steve Kerr's rotation is just way more of a thing that I don't want to deal with than just cutting ties with him and getting minimal assets back. I get it. He could be an all-star down the line. It's not going to be with the Golden State Warriors. So just cut him loose, get what you can get for him now, and go into a regular season upcoming with a big 3 of Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, role players around them, and everybody kind of buying in to a team-winning atmosphere. And clearly, that's not what Jonathan Kuminga has been about at this point. And then if you do bring him back, like, this is my biggest question. Who's to say that you get a bigger return in season for all the reasons I just said? He's no guarantee that he ends up playing a big role in Steve Kerr's rotation. He went on Tim Kawakami's podcast and say, I can't play this guy 38 minutes a night next to Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond and expect to win basketball games, because he wants to go into business for himself and he wants to be, this focal point of an offense that he's just never going to be with number 30 out there wearing blue and gold. And it's crazy to me that Jonathan Kuminga is not alone in this situation. Restricted free agency is an absolute mess this offseason because nobody had cap space and nobody wants to offer these guys big-time money. All 4 of them are reportedly looking for something in the realm of $25 to $30 million annually, and Kuminga's the only one leaking stuff to Shams and all these insiders and all this nonsense about it. Look at the numbers on the screen. Look at some of the advanced analytics and the true shooting percentage. And just Kuminga's a worse player than all these guys, and yet he's the only one making big-time noise. Yeah, we're hearing a couple quotes here and there about Cam Thomas and Josh Giddey and Quentin Grimes, but we're not hearing as much about as we are about Jonathan Kuminga. It's an absolute disgrace. And then I just want to, level with the Warriors fans on this channel a little bit, because what I see in the comments section is so starkly contrasting what I'm seeing on social media, and that's getting a ton of engagement over there. So I wanted to go through a couple of different tweets that I saw following the Shams article dropping and just kind of bring you guys to a little bit of reality of what the rest of the world is kind of thinking. This comes in from Jack Dan. He says, the fact that the teams that are rumored to be in on Jonathan Kuminga are the Suns, the Bulls, and the Kings should act as a referendum on the kind of player he truly is. Those 3 basketball franchises are losers. Losers. They are losing franchises, and they want a losing basketball player. Dame coming in with this. He said Kuminga wants to play Kuminga ball for a team, and he knows that he can't do that with Golden State because Golden State actually wants to win basketball games but doesn't want to lose him for nothing, and this is why you don't draft 19-year-olds when you have one of the best players ever in his prime. It's quite frankly ridiculous. And then he ended up going and saying this about what Kuminga said, stunting and strung along his career. Like, it is somehow the Warriors' fault that he can't dribble, shoot, read a defense, find space on the court, box out, rebound, finish through contact, defend off ball, defend on ball, or anything that is helpful for winning. Dame is spitting straight facts right now. I watched this guy with my own 2 eyes, a very large sample size, and he doesn't do anything that is conducive to winning, at least on this team. And then this is the icing on the cake, right? Who are we to listen to but Kendrick Perkins when it comes to who the Warriors should pay in free agency this offseason? He goes on ESPN a couple days ago and said the Warriors need to value this young man because he's elite. Because he's what? This is just a total disaster, and I hate to say I told you so, but I goddamn told you so. I've been telling you for months that this is going to be a disaster, and he's not the player that he thinks he is. And look where we are now. We got a bunch of losers trying to fight for him and not really offering anything in any trades for him. So how much do they really want him at the end of the day? It's a total disaster. My rant's done on Kuminga for now. I got to ask you this, though. If you completely disagree with me, I need you to answer this question. Will Jonathan Kuminga make multiple All-Star teams like Kendrick Perkins suggested, or like Joe Lacob has suggested, like all the people that I do not trust in the basketball world have suggested? Yes or no? Let me know down in the comments section. Woo! All right, time to tell you guys about an awesome deal. I'm cooling off a little bit now because this is an insane price right here for this Warriors 2025 playoff shirt. It's literally half off right now, and you can get it at this link right here, chatsports.com/win4bay. That's chatsports.com/win4bay. But don't worry, you don't got to type it out. I put it in the comments section and description of today's video to make it easy for you guys. Go get yourself a fresh Nike Warriors 2025 playoff shirt for the low today. All right, Gary Payton. We had to talk about him. He's on the thumbnail. He's in the title. Like, this guy is a Warriors mainstay and a locker room presence that after losing Kevon Looney that you might end up needing to bring back to just keep things gelling in that Warriors locker room. Look, as far as an on-court product goes for GP2, there's been rumors, by the way, for me to kind of I forgot to mention that there's been rumors long-standing in this offseason that he could come back to Golden State on a minimum deal, but I'm not so sure if I want him to be in the rotation for the Dubs this season. Really, a big-time fall-off back in, oh my goodness, these stats are super old. But regardless, like he's not even the player that he was back in 2017-18. And Mark Stein had gone out and said that Gary Payton is kind of doing a similar thing to the rest of the available free agents out there right now. He said, I saw Gary Payton II like 2 days ago, and I'm like, what's going on? He's waiting on JK. He is, and Al Horford is, and presumably DeAnthony Melton is as well, as those two players are the likely dominoes to fall once Kuminga's decision is made. So GP2, it seems like, is kind of keen on coming back to the Golden State Warriors himself. I'm sure that there's been some dialogue between the two sides this offseason, and from what I'm gathering here, it is just, I guess I got to say it one more time, the Warriors are catering to the most mid player of all time, and they're letting him dictate their offseason and letting guys like Gary Payton, lose out on potential landing spots as teams fill up their rosters. Same with Al Horford. Like, they're kind of cornering Horford, even though he wants to go to Golden State, like, into only having kind of one landing spot this offseason. Same with Melton. Like, they're stringing all these guys along. Jonathan Kuminga talks about his career being strung along. They're stringing along all these free agents and their offseason and their future prospects, all for a guy who they don't even believe could be a long-term solution to the roster. It's mind-boggling, and there's serious questions that need to be asked to the Warriors front office members. Now, if Jonathan Kuminga does end up accepting that 2-year deal and gives him to Golden State, who knows? Maybe they can meet in the middle somewhere, but I don't even want to give him anywhere close to $25 million next season. So, regardless, if that's the case, I'm not 100% sure if Gary Payton and Seth Curry, who the Warriors are also rumored to be interested in, can both fit in Golden State's cap space. Because remember when we went over yesterday's full cap table with GSW CBA, he had the impression that Kuminga had a 2-year, $40 million deal on the table. So I think that $2.5 million extra per season could end up pushing Golden State past the second apron, which would not make it possible for them to sign both of these guys. So maybe you have to pick one of the two in free agency to fill out the Warriors roster, but who knows? I'm not 100% sure on the cap. If that's the case, though, pick one to sign for Golden State. If it's Gary Payton, give me a GP2 down below. If it's Seth Curry, give me an SC if you want to bring a real splash bro to the Bay Area for the first time. Alrighty, last thing before we get off on today's show, and that is my favorite Warriors memory of all time. And that is not something that resulted in a championship or something that, we saw confetti falling down of any kind. No, this is the one that started it all. My favorite Warriors memory of all time is the 54 from Steph Curry, the arrival of him in this league as a superstar back in 2013 at Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks. A game I watched live as a kid. It honestly made me fall in love with watching the game of basketball at a die-hard level. Like, it was sensational. We'd never seen anything like it, and it set the precedent that this guy was not going to be messed with for the next decade plus. So that's my favorite Warriors memory of all time because it truly, truly, truly started the dynasty there back in 2013 in New York City. That will do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. My name is Tyler Smith, and I thank you so much for dealing with my nonsense during this crazy, crazy Kuminga summer. We'll keep you locked in with everything that we hear, so subscribe, turn your notifications on. We'll see you guys in the next one. As always, let's go Dubs.